Hi there, my name's Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Monday, July the 24th, 2023. I had to think about that. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's do some gear chat today. Last week we demoed the True Hybrid behind me. If you missed that video, please check it out. And also, after the stream, I went ahead and made a dedicated mini video for the channel, which I uploaded that night. That's on the channel as well. Check that out too. Got lots of good comments on that guitar. I didn't know what people would make of it. I feel like everyone's looking for Martin and Taylor these days. They're not interested in these more boutique brands and brands from Australia and places like that. So I wasn't sure what people would say, especially being a hybrid guitar with the electric pickups. But I got loads of positive comments on the Acoustic Guitar Forum, on the video, and here saying that they love the sound of the plugged-in acoustic, which is why I love Cole Clark, that amazing pickup system. And they love the sound of the electric as well. So very, very cool. Not that I have any horses in that race, but it's always nice when you show off gear and people like what the sound that you've made from it, right? Let's say hi to everyone. Let's go through a few things that have happened this week, and then let's get to any questions. So I was thinking just this week, my friend, I need to ask you again how I say your name, because I'm going to say Bedouin Buddha. So if I'm saying it wrong, please correct me, because it bothers me every week. Hi, everybody from New Orleans. I do know how to say New Orleans and not New Orleans. At least that's one thing, right? Aaron, have a cool show, bro. Thank you, bro. David Belcher's here. He's been posting some funny memes this week. Good to see you, man. Thomas Moore, how you doing? Good to see you. Patsy Smith says, hello, Aaron, David, and everyone in the chat. Rosanna's here moderating with that blue spanner. Good evening, Aaron, and everyone here in the chat. Happy Monday, everybody. Awesome. Lee's here too with his spanner. We've got two spanners here today. Hello, Aaron, and everyone in the chat. You know, in America, we say wrench. I actually said to Cole Clark, how do you adjust the neck, the truss rod in the True Hybrid? Because there's just a slot at the heel, not the usual adjustment. And he said, you need to get a spanner, a very small spanner. Actually, I need to find a smaller spanner. The spanner I have, you turn it, and then it won't fit again. You have to turn the spanner around and then turn it. Turn the spanner around, and then, which isn't really a problem. But it'd be nice to find a spanner with a really small head, or the outside of it, because the outside part is often fat on one side, you know what I mean? So it'd be good to find a regular size spanner that fits that, but without all that excess metal on it. So you can just do it as you need to, but it works fine. And so yeah, I looked up spanner, and of course nothing came up on Amazon, so I looked up wrenches, and lots of things came up on Amazon. Prodigal Nation's here, Dr. McFarlane's here, Mark Smith is here in Swansea Valley. Is that the UK, right? Swansea. Here we go. It's Bedouin. Bedouin. Bedouin, 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 not Bedouin, Bedouin. I remember that. 3 Bedouin, Bedouin. Okay. Remind me if I forget. So, yeah, put a question there. Ask me any gear advice or recommendations. Anything you've bought this week. Any recommendations you want to share with the live stream, put them there as well. I may put my 2 cents in if you do, because it's my stream, but that's fine. If you don't mind, then put it in there too. Just being honest. Paul is here, says, hey, hello, Aaron. How you doing, man? Good to see you. So there was a leak today. Another leak. And the leak was that there's another Synergy module coming out. This is interesting. I used to have one of these Synergy amps where you could change the modules. And the reason it's interesting is because I think that's a great system. I love the idea of it. And the new module is a Friedman. And apparently it's got 2 independent channels. They've both got their own EQ. So many of the Synergy modules, I'll just show you on the screen. So many of these Synergy modules have like a shared EQ. Some of them have a separate EQ. But if you look at the Soldano one that came out fairly recently, you'll see it's got 2 channels, but then it's only got bass, middle, and treble. So you have to balance the two. I always find that a pain when you have to do that. Some of the other ones have the dedicated EQ, which I think is a lot better, like this one here. Here we go. So you've got channel 1, channel 2. Either one can be lead or crunch. They both have bass, middle, and treble. They both have volume. They both have gain. They're essentially copied, and then I guess the gain structure is different. On some of them, maybe the gain structure is the same, and you then sort of just set them differently. But it's so important, I think, on a 2-channel amp to have those separate EQs, and apparently the new one coming from Fishman has that. So that's really cool. I wanted to develop this system because it's really, really great. You see, what you do if you haven't seen it on my channel before, you buy the head, where there's a small head, the big head, the combo. So let's say you want to get the combo because you want an all-in-one and not the separate head. You buy that. This one has a clean channel, which is very good. And then you insert in the top the module, and that gives you 2 more channels. So the Fishman would give you effectively 3 channels. You'd have your clean on the amp, and then you'd have your 2 channels on the module. And then the head, one of the heads has 2 slots. So you could have, but no clean sound. So then you could have the Fishman module and, say, the Fender style module, and that would give you 4 slots. So 4 channels, like a 4-channel amp, which is really great. And they also sell a module for your desktop as well, just to put on the desk, which is really nice. This one here. So if you get this and you get the module of your choice, then you can run it either through your amplifier or directly into your computer and use it as a preamp. So I love the idea. I'd love to see them add impulse response out. That's the one thing that I look for in an amp these days that it doesn't have. It has an analog out, which is good, but not as good as impulse responses, in my opinion. And I like to see them add MIDI control, so you can do it all via MIDI. And I think that would be a really great solution if they did that. I think they should bring out new housing and new amps and new combos and new heads with those 2 features, and it'd be a really great option for a lot of people. So, yep, that was leaked today, and I've heard no other news. If anyone else has heard any other news, let me know. I'm still waiting to hear about the John Mayer anniversary guitars. I've heard nothing about them. So if you've heard anything about them, let me know as well. All right. So, Jasper, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Mark Smith says, is the Everse 8 still the best portable PA? And why not get a head and separate amp? Why not just get why get a head and separate amp? So there are reasons why you get a separate head and amp, a cabinet. If you get the head and a cabinet, what that means is you can change the cabinet. So you could buy a 1x12 cabinet and a 2x12 cabinet. And for anyone who doesn't know about electric guitar amps, the 2x12 is 2 12-inch speakers, therefore a bigger cabinet, therefore heavier. So what you could do is you could take the head and the smaller cab to a gig, or for a bigger gig, you could take the head and the larger cab, and then for some gigs, you could even put both cabs in if you really wanted to, or you could have 2 2x12s or something like that. It's more modular that way. With the combo, you can still do that, but then if you're not going to use the speaker in the combo and you've got to take the 212, then you're taking all that stuff. So it really is just an option. If you only ever use a combo and a 112 speaker, you'd get the combo. But there are some reasons still to get the separates. A good one that someone told me is if you're loading the gear into the car, the head and the cab separately is lighter than the combo combined. Maybe not in total weight, but you can think about it. You can carry the head out to the car with your stands, and then you can carry the cab out to the car with your guitar. That's probably easier than carrying out the combo in one. But then some people like the idea of just carrying the combo and having everything in their hand, even if it's slightly heavier. So it's really just options. And then some people don't even use a cab. They'd buy the head and use that straight into some kind of load box into the computer. So it's really options. I like combos, but then sometimes I like the idea of having a head and the cabinet separate. And some people say it sounds different too when you have them isolated like that. Some people say the combos can rattle. And I've never had that. But if you think about it, with everything built into one box, everything's moving around, it could cause some movement and make things come loose. Whereas with separates, the head's going to be sitting there static, and the cab's going to be either underneath it or beside it maybe, and not even touching it. So different reasons, really different reasons. They're all the ones that I can think of. Let me know if you've got any more. Yeah, no problem. I used to wonder the same. Like, why would you buy a head and a cabinet? That's a real hassle. Just get the combo. That's why. Because I did get a head, and for a while I had a head and a cabinet. I had two 1x12 cabinets in the head, and I liked the option of plugging in one cabinet or two cabinets, and I just like that. And then having the head on top of the cabinet so I can see the controls. It's just a different spin on things, really. So is the eVerse 8 still the best portable PA? I really don't know. And, you know, people keep talking about online, what PA should I get? And some people have said this week on some posts I've seen, like they've recommended getting a Bose S1 Pro because it can do any gig. I don't understand this. A PA, an amplifier, a speaker, an acoustic speaker, a portable PA, it's like saying how long is a piece of string. Because it all depends how big the room you're playing in is. Are you playing inside? Are you playing outside? How many people are there? And also, how loud do you expect it to be? Because we all have different ideas of volume. I have an opinion in my head of when I plug in a new PA speaker and play through it, what kind of volume I should be feeling at certain turns of the knob, you know? And other people might not have that same perception. So it's really hard to answer. And like all gear, there's so many options. And like all gear, they're all got things that are good and they've all got things that are bad. The eVerse 8 does tick many, many, many boxes. I still really like it. It seems to have a lot of headroom for its size and weight. It has a very stable and reliable app with great functionality. It can power another device. I don't think from USB, which is a shame, because the S1 Pro Plus powers from a USB plug, which is lovely. But I think the eVerse 8 actually has a dedicated barrel connector to power something and a USB-C to charge your phone. So, you know, I think if someone asked me today, like, I need to buy a PA for gigs, what should I buy? What I would say is tell me where you're playing, how many people are usually there, how you get to the gig. Do you drive or do you take the train or do you walk or do you bike? And all those questions, I need to know all those questions to recommend what I think would be best. Also, how many inputs do you need? Because the JBL still has 3 inputs. The eVerse 8 has 2 inputs. The S1 Pro Plus has 2 inputs. But I wouldn't want to put 4 people through, or 4 devices through an S1 Pro Plus. I think it'd be too much. Because when I'm using the S1 Pro Plus, I'm pushing it to its maximum. And it sounds amazing, and I love all the features, but I haven't got anywhere else to go with it. With the eVerse 8, I haven't yet pushed it to its maximum, so I've still got further to go. Then again, do I need to go further? Maybe not, but it's nice to know that I can if I ever need to. Does that make sense? So if you do want me to answer that question seriously, then tell me all those things, like how many people are at the gigs, what kind of rooms they are, how big they are, how high the ceiling is. Are they inside? Are they outside? Are you driving? Are you walking? What are you plugging in? What kind of pickup are you using? Are you using backing tracks? Are you using a kick drum? Have you got a singer? Have you got 2 singers? Or that'd be really, that's how I would answer the question. Graham says, I'm looking at a small Mackie mixer for solo gigs to replace my bigger alto desk. Are Mackies still as good these days? I'm reading mixed reviews on quality control. You see, I see mixed reviews on quality control on all gear these days, and I've experienced it on all gear as well, with all the brands, all the boutique brands, all the minor brands, smaller brands. That sounds awful. It's just the way it is. I would ignore that. They are very good. You know what? I want to bring my experience into this. One of the best things I used over the last 12 months was my QSC K8.2, and that I reviewed it in the lockdown. The Elite Acoustics. There's the Gig Mix and the Stomp Mix. The Stomp Mix actually goes on your pedal board, which is awesome. The Gig Mix goes on the table, which I used. I prefer that format for what I do. It gives you 4 inputs. It gives you an XLR in, and I think the other one gives you 2 XLR ins and 2 line ins. And I would plug that into, excuse me, I need to have some tea. I would plug that into the QSC input 1, and I still have input 2 available if I wanted to plug someone's pedal board into that. And it sounded incredible. And that mixer is very capable. And that mixer is this big. This big. It's awesome. You could almost Velcro it on the side of the 8.2. I use 3M dual lock. You could almost dual lock it onto the side of it at the gig and just go to it on that. Actually, that's a great idea. I should have done that. Yeah, you should have. I should have put dual lock on the side of it, and at the gig just pressed it on, and then I could have. Mind you, it's hard to get that dual lock off again. But yeah, that's a great rig. That really blew me away, and it's so portable because that mixer will fit in your gig bag or like in the pocket of the. I wouldn't do that, but the pocket of the QSC. But yeah, it'll fit in your gig bag easily, and then you're good to go. I really was impressed with the sound of that. So if again, how many inputs do you need? If you only need 3 inputs, get that touch mix. That's not touch, that's the QSC. The gig mix. That's really is great. And that's one of the pieces of gear that I've reviewed on my channel that I did an actual I did a paid review for it, but not paid. They gave me the thing. I did a sponsored review, let's call it, for that pedal, that mixer. It's one of the few things that I use that often. I was using it every week, all the time. And I was really, the more I use it, the more I liked it, is the point I'm trying to make. Because in the video I said, yeah, this thing's awesome, it's small, it sounds great. But the more I used it at the gigs, the more I liked it. And I almost wanted to review it again to say how amazing it was. It really is very impressive. And so compact, it's crazy. Lee says 1 week. Yes, we're going to be meeting in a week's time. Coming to, I guess it's not a secret because you put the Statue of Liberty on there. Lee and Rosanna are coming next Monday. I need to get their schedule, but next Monday I have a gig. So I'm going to do an early gear chat. And then I'm going to try to meet with them and go to a guitar store with them. Maybe Tuesday morning. I don't know, we need to talk. But yeah, looking forward to that. I got a gig Monday and Tuesday, so you can pick and choose or come to both. Let me know. In the UK, a wrench is an adjustable spanner. That's right. Is it adjustable? I don't know. Whatever. I found it anyway. And then lately, here's another tip for you. Lately, I've been buying lots of accessories and tools from Stu Mac. They really are excellent. So people laughed at me last week. This happens all the time. I said in the group, how do I figure out the gauge of the strings on the True Hybrid? Because they don't know at Cole Clark what was on it. They don't know if it's 10s or 11s, right? Because they switched over to 10s. And they were laughing at me. I just use your calipers. I'm like, you don't understand. I bought calipers from Amazon. I can't get them to work. They're not reading right. They don't have the right measurement accuracy. I can't use them. So I just went on Stu Mac and ordered their $60, $50 Pro calipers that are made for guitarists, guitar techs, and they're awesome. They've got the proper measurement. They're heavy duty. They're well made. They've got different notches in them for different parts of the guitar. And straight away, putting it on and gripping it as hard as I could, it said it was 10s. Awesome. You see, I say this a lot. I feel silly saying it, but I really believe in it. You have to get quality tools. It makes life so much better, and it prevents you from damaging stuff too. Like I used to use I always say this story. I used to use the metal Martin truss rod tool. And I remember sitting there, I couldn't get the truss rod to move. And it was hurting my hand, and I was texting my friend who was also a Martin fan. Like, how do I do this? How do I adjust the truss rod? It's not moving. I don't understand what's going on. And he's like, you just turn it. What's wrong with you? So I then ordered the one with the big blue handle on it, the Cruise Tools, or Groove Tools, I think they are now. And I remember I got it, and I put it in, and I turned it, it just turned. Because it had the proper handle on it to get the grip. It's like when you build IKEA furniture, and you use the tool they give you, and it cuts your hand up, and you can't do it. If only they would sell a $30, $50 version of that tool, I would buy it in a heartbeat. Because then, if say you're doing a new house, and you're doing the furniture, it'd be a breeze. You'd just be going through everything, done. Having the right tool for the guitar maintenance is really important. And I really recommend those calipers. They're so good. A shifter. I've never heard of a spanner called a shifter before. I'm drinking peppermint tea. I'm on a health kick at the moment. Lots of no coffee, no alcohol, only peppermint tea and water. That's why I'm a little bit husky. I haven't got my full energy. I feel very focused in my mind, but I don't have my full my usual energy from eating all that sugar and carbs. But I feel good. All right. John Mayer started playing PV amps. Is that the amp that he was hiding on stage? I don't believe that. David Belcher says, I hope you guys have a great time. Awesome. I'm sure. I think it's their first time, so they'll be in for a shock. Dr. McFarland just got the Quilter Aviator Cub, and it's very lightweight. I told you, Dr. McFarland, I got a quilter. That's the quilter. I've got hair here, look. The quilter is one of those pieces of gear, and it may just be me, but it's one of those pieces of gear where you just constantly read amazing things about it. This is great. This is great. This sounds amazing. This is better than a tube amp. This is so light. This sounds amazing. This sounds amazing, 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 amazing. So I bought one and I just didn't like it at all. It just sounded really, it just didn't have the sound that I expected or I wanted to have from an amplifier. Now, I'm not going to say it's because it's solid state and not tube, etc. I did try a tube amp recently that I thought sounded pretty bad too. It just sounded really small. So sometimes that's the problem. With some speakers, sometimes they're too small and they don't give you the sound you want. Sometimes you need an amp to be a certain size, or it just sounds small. But then some amps, like the Katana 1x12, sounds really big. Sometimes it's just how they voice them as well. But I didn't like the Quilter very much, I have to admit. And you know, we're all allowed an opinion. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Rafa, how you doing, man? Saw your comment on Anderton's interview with Steel Beans. What a guy. Yes, I was very happy yesterday because I'll tell you the full story actually because it's all kind of related. This is a good story. Last week, I woke up and it was the day that IK Multimedia opened a store for the Tonex. And what they're doing is they're getting creators of Tonex captures, what they're called, into a store where obviously they'll take a cut and sell them through their main official website. So, I mean, that's fine. I'm all for finding ways to make money. Of course, you have to when you do YouTube. But the thing is, I always see both sides of these things, and I just feel like by doing that, this is a very honest opinion of mine now. In doing that, you're bringing people into your business. You're paying them money, aren't you? So I do feel there's a bit of bias that creeps in at that point. And also, they're obviously using that as a way to advertise through their channel. So that now they're all putting out Tonex videos this week on their new releases because they want to sell them. So you might think this is genius marketing. You might think it's not what you want to see. But I saw that and I had that thought. I had that thought of, you know, well, I see what they're doing and it's good, but it's also going to make the channels biased towards them. With future releases, they'll say it won't, but how could it not, right? My opinion. And then that same morning, I just saw all these things. I was on Instagram. It was like Anderton's put a video up advertising the new guitars that just came in. And then it was literally all ad centered. It wasn't no video was saying like, oh, check out my new video on my channel on YouTube of this guitar I just bought. It's really awesome. It was all ads, or it was like, you know, I wish I'd taken a screenshot of everything because I can't remember what they were now. But it was all selling stuff, sell, like literally QVC ads, literally ads, and then other stuff too, like you know, I guess they know my age, so they're recommending weight loss products and things to be, but all this stuff, you know, and it was just, I just thought, wow, this is the first time I've seen ads. You see ads on Facebook, you see videos that are basically ads, don't you, all the time? And fair enough, some of these businesses are basically advertising and they're not hiding it, but everything was just an either a roundabout ad or an ad. And I just thought, wow, this is it. We've really tipped the tide now. We really are selling. Like YouTube and Instagram, Facebook now is just purely selling stuff, purely like they're going for it. And I just thought, I've just had enough. You know, I don't want to feel like I'm doing QVC videos. I want to feel like I'm talking about gear. And I understand that. I do understand, of course, that you have to make money. That's why I have the affiliate links. I understand that you can't buy all the gear to review because you'd go bankrupt. I know that very well. But at the same time, how do you find that line where you're still, you know, you're not having that voice in the back of your head that, well, I'm getting money from so-and-so, so that sways me, and that it has to affect the way. I know that's true because it's affected the way that I think. I've had those situations in the past, and I didn't like them. That's why I made the video about JBL, right? I just didn't feel comfortable recommending the product the way it was, so I had to just say, look, and I probably burned some, well, hopefully I didn't burn bridges doing that, but I may have done, but I'm happy to do that because I don't want to go that way. But anyway, I really thought that's it. Everything now is just ads now. But it was great yesterday because on Anderton's, they're interviewing, what's his name? I had no idea who he was. Steel Beans. And this is a guy that plays the drums and the guitar and sings and the keyboard at the same time. And but not only that, he also writes songs and he sings incredibly well. And he was discovered through social media. He doesn't seem very about the money at all. He just wants to do his music. He was found through social media. He toured with Tenacious D, opening for them. And now he's on Anderton. So now the sky's the limit, right? The limit, right? But what's so incredible about this guy is that, yes, he's got pedals, and yes, he's playing drums and a nice keyboard and a cool guitar. He's obviously into gear, but the center of what he's doing is his music, and he's doing it in an original way. That's what impresses me. I put a comment that Rafa just referenced that basically said, I feel like this is the turn of maybe a new music scene, because I think the problem is so much music now has gone online. So many musicians now have kind of turned to selling stuff and making demo videos rather than releasing. I mean, I know I don't really want to write original music anymore, but I could do more music performance videos, and I want to. I know they won't pay me any money. If you do stuff really cool, you might get something like that guy did, a support act, which is amazing. So I do think it's a balance. I do think, like with me, I want to do more of those, but still do the gear ones as well. But I just loved that video yesterday because as a viewer, I just thought to myself, wow, this is the start of real music again, because this is a guy that just wants to play music, has the gear he needs, likes gear, but not obsessed with it like I am. You know, it's so easy with all these videos just to get, and starting your own channel, just to get completely obsessed with the gear. So here's a guy who is writing cool songs, playing them in an original way that's also entertaining with a great voice, and doing it for the passion of the music, which is then becoming successful. That to me just feels like it was back in the 90s when bands would do that. And he's doing it in this really cool way as well. So do watch that video after my show if you want to. It's on the Anderton's music channel, and it's the cool, I keep saying cool. It's the, what's his name? Steel Beans. I keep saying cool beans. Steel Beans. Yeah. So check out that interview. It's really, really awesome. And you have to watch it all the way to the end because he plays again at the end, and that's really an amazing performance. And the story of how he got the gig with Tenacious D is amazing too. Really, really interesting. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. And that really made me happy because that was refreshing content. Okay, Anderton still asked him what gear he uses. I'm sure they still have links to the products in the description. They're still selling stuff. But that was an Anderton's video that was more about just showing off a talent rather than showing off a new pedal. And I like that. I'd like to see more of that. Obviously, they've got to make money. They've got to advertise their business. I get it. But again, getting that balance of having those videos and the other videos would be awesome. Doug McFarland also has a separate speaker volume and line volume out, so you can adjust stage volume from signal to front of house. Yeah, I don't want to buy another amp with a line out unless it's got impulse responses on it. I don't want any more analog line outs. They're good and they're very usable, but having that impulse response out, just going straight, plugging in an XLR cable straight to the desk is awesome. And I always think that those outputs sound better than the speaker, especially when I'm playing quietly at home. So, Graham. There's footage of the Jam from the late 70s where there are Marshall amps behind them, but in one shot you can see a small mic'd PV combo at the side of the stage that Weller is plugged into. That's funny. And people do that with Kempers, don't they? And some bands do have fake Marshall stacks and then have a Kemper behind. Yeah, that kind of goes along with relicking and all that kind of stuff, doesn't it? Is that cool or not? Does it matter? Do we need to keep referencing the past all the time? We don't. But people still think so. You know, some people want to, so that's fine. Rafa, I keep having to repeat the mantra, I don't need more guitars, because it feels like everyone is trying to entice you. Exactly. And I was just thinking today. So today I sold a lot of gear a few months ago when I told you I did. And then I kind of stopped because the used market, frankly, sucks right now. And I'm still not sure exactly what guitars I want to keep. But I realized today, like playing through some acoustics and playing through my Strats, this is the problem with gear. There is no, it's very, very rare you find the perfect guitar. And I think you can, and you could certainly have one custom made and hope you like it. But the problem is if you don't, like, if say you've got guitar A and you love it, but it's missing a coil split. And then you've got guitar B and you love it, but it's a bit heavier. It's heavier than the other guitar. And then you've got guitar C and you love it, but the neck is too thin, etc., etc., etc. You kind of go between them all because none of them are exactly what you want. So what do? Do you keep buying more guitars and just like having that thing that bugs you? Or do you, I guess what you have to do if you don't want to keep doing that is to say, right, I will commit to one of them and I'll take that thing I don't like and just live with it. So say you might say, well, the guitar that's heavier, I like everything else about it. I can put up with that weight. It's fine. But I think the problem then is the back of your mind that may always bug you. And then if you see another guitar with the same specs that's lighter, you'll buy it. But then who's to say that it's going to sound the same as the other one? Because guitars are so inconsistent anyway with the different woods and the way they're set up. So I think that's the problem. I think that's why we continue to chase gear, because there is no perfect piece of gear. Take the portable battery speakers as a good example. I'm not trying to be nice to them all because I want to keep all the companies happy. At the end of the day, the facts are the Bose S1 Pro Plus has a cool built-in wireless system and is the absolute lightest speaker. So some days that is the one to take. If you've got to walk to a gig, you're going to take that 14-pound speaker. The JBL is the only one of them that has 3 dedicated inputs. If you need 3 inputs, you're going to take that one. And the Everse 8 is louder and 17 pounds, yeah, same weight, but that's like the loudest one. So some gigs you might need that volume, you'll take that one. And then they all have slightly other separate features too. You know, the point is, it's not like having 3 of these cups that are all identical and saying which cup is the best, and you can just say, well, that middle one's the best. You know, it's not like that. I sometimes think the companies get together and deliberately do this to make us buy everything. Because look at all the guitar floor processors, look at all the speakers. There's always something on one of them that the other one doesn't have. You know, the Helix floor has the excellent software editor. The Kemper has the always-on looper and the always-on tuner. The Axe FX has... what does that have? Oh, I can't think. But you know what I mean. They all have... And the Axe FX has no editor. They all have these things that... You know, you would think they would all have an editor. They'd all have a touchscreen. They'd all have an always-on looper. They'd all have an always-on tuner. But they don't. They all have slightly different features to make you want to try the other ones. I always think that they do this on purpose because they know that people like me will want to try them all because of that. Because you're using, you know, sitting there with your quad cortex thinking this sounds incredible. And then suddenly you think to yourself, oh, but the Kemper always has that looper. I haven't got to load it. So maybe I'll get a Kemper, you know. I sometimes think that's done on purpose. Rafa says, I started a new band, a 4-piece, and I don't need anything else. Awesome. Bimo says, to shill or not to shill? That is the question. Well, you know, if you want to do it, it's fine with me. I don't mind. I don't. It's not something I want to do. But I understand why you would do it, because you can make money. And then, I don't know. That's a really hard conversation, because there's many angles to that. Some people say they don't shill, they like the stuff, they believe they're doing things the right way. I think it's more to do with your situation and the way you think about things. I don't know. But I do know that it sucks to get a piece of gear that sucks, and then you can't talk about it because you don't want to talk about it because it sucks. And then you got to tell the company and give it back to them, and that's just a big waste of time. So there's a lot of downsides and stuff. And actually, doing a YouTube channel is one of the worst things to do if you've got an addiction to gear, because I've got stuff here now that I want to be sold, but I'm keeping it thinking, well, I will make the video, and I might use that in the video. And that just gives you another reason to hang on to it. And I've heard other people say that as well. So YouTube definitely has a dark side to it. Got a link? No, just type in Anderton's TV on YouTube, and it's the latest one of the latest videos. Yeah, it says interview. Yeah, Anderton's meets Steel Beans. Pooh Ninja, I love some Wall of Marshall Cabs wallpaper. Did you see the comment I put on your video last week? Because you asked me what hair product I use. I asked you what helmet polish you use. Michael, how you doing? Michael posted a good video today, playing live this week, and he was using that Yamaha Stage Pass 200. The guitar sounded great. Did the guitar have any of the impulse response from the Stage Pass on it, Michael, or did you have the mic blended in from the Anthem, or was that just the piezo? Because it sounded like a microphone to me, but that might just be the way the video picked it up. Marshall wallpaper, yeah, imagine that. You have that behind me. Velcroing electronics to a vibrating speaker makes me nervous. No, it'd be. I think it'd be. I mean, I know what you're saying, but my point with that mixer is it's so light. It's like the weight of a pedal. And the speaker doesn't vibrate that much. I'm sure, I mean, that was just an idea. I really do think it would work, but I mean, I got the gig mix just to put on the table next to me so I can make adjustments. You could even put it on the mic stand in front of you. That'd be a better idea. Then you can control it from the mic stand. That'd be a great idea. And there we go. And they also make the pedal. I mean, the pedal's amazing. If you've got a pedal board for your show, you could have the mixer on the pedal board. How cool is that? And they've got a new one coming out too with more inputs as a pedal, which looks really nice. Danielle, excuse me. Lately, I've been trying to rotate through several guitars, switching to a different guitar on a weekly basis. I'm choking on tea. Yeah, you can do that too. I like the idea of having just the one guitar because I don't want to like keep changing my settings all the time. I find with the guitar, like the pickups can really affect the tone and everything about it. So I feel like you get a guitar and you get an amp and you dial it in how you want it and then you're done. If it's like a modular digital thing, you can save that as a preset for that guitar, which is great. But the problem with grabbing a different guitar is if you don't have the ability to save presets, you've got to dial it in again. And I mean, if you're okay with that, it's fine, but that's the downside to changing guitars. And that's a good plus for having the one guitar. So that blows my mind. The post he put up today was Yamaha DBR12's Anthem with piezo 100%. It sounded like you had the mic from the Anthem blended in. Are you sure that wasn't 100% mic and not 100% piezo? Because I just thought it sounded like the true mic in that video, or some sort of impulse response. Because the Yamaha, the DBR12, not the new one, not the portable one. Okay, so it wasn't that then. Yeah, but on the other hand, it could just be the way the camera recorded the sound through the speaker. Because it's amazing when you hear something direct versus hearing a recording in the room. You get all the room ambience in the blending in, and it completely changes the sound. Paul Keith, for a guitar that I need a cheap pickup in, will it be better served with a cheap undersaddle or a soundhole pickup? I need it to be plug and play, so a K&K is out. Yeah, me too. I mainly strum with my guitar. So, Paul, you want a guitar that I need a cheap pickup in? Not, I thought you said that you had a cheap guitar. You've got a guitar, you want a cheap pickup. So how much do you want to spend? Better served with a cheap undersaddle or a soundhole pickup. How much do you want to spend? Because I would just install the Anthem SL and be done with it, because then you'll get great sound. You could use a soundhole pickup. It really depends on budget. My go-to, as you probably know, always lately is the Anthem SL, or the full Anthem. The Anthem SL is cheaper. If you're planning on, if it's a nice guitar that you're planning on using on a regular basis, why not get one permanently installed? So it looks like this. It's $229 for the SL. Is that more than you want to spend? Let me know. But that's my recommendation 90% of the time. I always need more information. People ask me questions and things, and what I need is more information. I need to know what the guitar is, where you're playing, how often you're playing, and exactly how much you want to spend to really give you a really good answer. People say to me all the time, so what's the best battery powered speaker? What's the best guitar? What's the best pick? What's the best strings? Yeah, again, how long is a piece of string? Rafa's got 2 gigs this weekend. Any happy song suggestions? Happy songs. I've been doing Everlong lately. I really like that. Not saying that's happy, but it's upbeat, isn't it? And I do Everlong. I do drop D for that, so I do Harvest Moon, Everlong, and I'm on Fire all in a row because they're all in drop D. So I do like a 3 drop D stint. And hey, Bedoin, stop watching Steel Beans. You can watch him after me, okay? Everyone, help me out. I can't think. Happy songs. I mean, Brown Eyed Girl, Sweet Caroline. You know the best song, the absolute best song for a cover gig, in my experience? Take Me Home Country Roads. Do you do that song? Take Me Home Country Roads is the best happy, upbeat, feel good, sing along cover to do. That and Wagon Wheel. Wagon Wheel, Take Me Home Country Roads. Awesome. And then Brown Eyed Girl is another one. Those 3. You got to get those 3 in. So that was 100% piezo going through the Presonus Studio Live 1602. Very nice. Into DBR12. So 12-inch speakers in a big high ceiling room. So you're getting the room sound in there too. Okay, well, I couldn't hear any of that piezo quack, and I always hear that from the Element. So are you sure you haven't got the mic blended into that sound? Rafa says, my friend installed a cheap Fishman preamp with piezo and mic and sounded surprisingly good. Do you know what it was? Anything with a mic can often sound good because you've got the natural sound of the mic there. $100 to $120. You might be able to get a used Anthem for $120. I see those sometimes. I can get an Anthem for about the same as I can get an Anthem SL, and the install is a lot more involved. More involved with what? I would definitely say if this is a keeper guitar that you're gonna be gigging a lot, I would get one of the Anthems. And if you want something like $100 and it's just the occasional thing, Fishman Sandal. You know, a really good pickup what I've always liked is the Rare Earth blend. How much is that though? Fishman Rare Earth blend. Oh well, they make one for a banjo. How about that? Fishman Rare Earth blend. There it is. Hang on. Rare Earth blend. It does not come up on Sweetwater. How weird. They still make that? Huh. Oh, it's called the Fishman Rare Magnetic Acoustic HB pickup with mic now. That's weird. They used to call it the Rare Earth blend. They've got rid of that name. It's 320 as well. Yeah, okay, that's more money. I wouldn't get a cheap Sano pickup. I wouldn't get a cheap. I mean, I would do and some people here won't agree with me, but I would do a Fishman Matrix without the controls. Quite nice install. I do like that bit. I've got that Gold Plus. I've got the Fishman. I mean, the Fishman Gold Plus is the same thing basically, and I have that in a guitar. It sounds really good. Can't even find that now either. How weird. But anyway, the Matrix is. Oh, you see, the Matrix is $200. So if you get the Matrix, I would get the Anthem SL. I've just, I say this all the time. I'm not a fan of putting the Element in my guitar, and that's just how I feel. Some people don't agree with that, but it is a great sounding system. And if you can be spending that sort of money, then just get that. Is what I would do. Waterloo Sunset. Is that happy? That's sort of mid-tempo. Beatles songs. Elton John, Crocodile Rock. Yes. If you can sing the high part. Oh, Here Comes the Sun. There you go. Here Comes the Sun, Take Me Home Country Roads, Brown Eyed Girl, Sweet Caroline, Wagon Wheel. I'll give you those 5. They're my top 5 cover songs. Have you tried Rhiannon? I haven't tried Rhiannon. I do Landslide, and I really like Dreams, but I only do it if there's a female singer. Never tried Brown Eyed Girl. You got to do that one, man. That's awesome. People love that song. American Pie, yep, great one. American Pie. American Girl, maybe not in the UK. Maybe they won't like it as much in the UK. But American Girl's a great song by Tom Petty. Everyone, yeah, that's what you want. You want songs that people sing along with. I think Rafa can hit those high notes in Crocodile Rock, so you should do it. I EQ the guitar pretty good. Okay, I have to hear it next time I see you, Michael. And I want to listen more closely to that guitar and see what you're doing. Proclamation. Can't understand people's love for Bruce Springsteen. I'm not a huge fan, but I'm on Fire is an amazing song. And if you look on YouTube, I'm on Fire cover. There's a guy plays it in drop D. He sings incredible, does his own version that sounds amazing. That is a great song. And so is Jersey Girl. But yeah, I know what you're saying, but he has got some amazing songs. He's had an amazing career, and he's got an amazing fan base, hasn't he? But I'm on Fire is very, very cool, I think. I was a Pat O'Brien's musician for years, dueling piano gig in NOLA and Memphis. Oh, cool. All those sing-along songs. Yep. So many people complain about, I don't want to play those songs. They're so corny. They're so overdone. I still love it. You know why I love it? I love it because, let me come back here. I love it because not so much about the song. I don't care so much about what song I'm singing. It's the reaction from the people. Every time you play Country Roads, people go crazy. Right? Maybe not crazy, but let's just say 9 out of 10 times I play that song, and now I play it, everyone will hate it. 9 out of 10, no, most of the times I play that song, people will sing along, look happy, be into it. And it's not about like whether you like the song or not at that point, because the song sort of takes a back seat to the fact that you're performing it to an audience that are joining in. It's more about the audience connection than the song. And I find that really cool. Not to say I don't like the song. I think it's an amazing song. But some of the songs that I play, I've been playing them for 20 years. You know, I must have played Wonderwall coming up for 20. Let me think about this. No, Wonderwall in a few years' time, I've been playing for 30 years. I still think it's a great song. I still enjoy it. I don't get the same feeling I get from playing that song as I did when it first came out. But as soon as you hit that very first chord, people go, "Oh yeah, Wonderwall." Yeah. So you get that element brought into it. So I still like it, and that is the kind of music I like. And you get that thing with the audience, and they sing along. They're the songs that I like, because I'll never get bored of those songs, because the audience reaction to them will make up for it. I'm not saying I always get a great reaction at gigs, because I don't, but there are definitely songs where I often do get people singing along and joining in, and they make the night better because of that song. So I think that's important. Because the Night, which she wrote and Patti Smith covered. I didn't know that. That's cool. Not many Bruce fans here. I like Glory Days in a band, but, you know. Oh, Beto In is a Bruce fan. Mojo Tone, make it. Yeah, so I tried the Mojo Tone when it first came out. I was going to review it, and I just got way too much noise in the signal in my apartment. I never ended up. Well, I think I made the video, but they didn't put it up because I said in the video there's some noise. The funny thing is, they sent me a new version to try to see if it got rid of the noise, and it still had the noise. It did actually sound better, but it still had some noise. And I told them. And then the weird thing is, they released the version then as a humbucker, which is what I really wanted. And they didn't send me that one. So, I don't know. It did sound very good. It is very compact. Let's see how much that one is now. But if you get 60 cycle hum, or whatever, with like a Strat guitar, you're going to get it with that pickup as well. Mojo Tone acoustic. I love the size of that one. It's very compact. That is $160. So that might be what you want. Yeah, they brought out one with a mic. That's right, which is cool. That's more money. And then, where is it? I'm sure they brought out a humbucker version. Mic blend. And then the single coil one, which obviously was the one that was noisy. And it wasn't just me, because I watched another review and they had noise in the background. So there you go. I'm sure they brought out one which is a humbucker. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. Because I hate looking for stuff while I'm live, but I saw they bring out a humbucker version. I couldn't believe they didn't send me that one to try, because if that got rid of the noise and sounded good, I would have made another video. Because I did like the product. I thought it was really cool form factor. And I like there's a new company coming on board with acoustic guitar pickups, but, single coil noise is, I don't even like it anymore in electric guitars. I mean, it has it in the hybrid, in the electrics sounds. It has it there. It's I don't notice it. It's in my Strat. I don't notice it. If I'm doing if I ever use in-ears on a gig, I don't really want that there. If I'm recording, I don't really want it there, although millions of songs have got that on it. I like the idea now of noiseless pickups. I was actually going to tell Cole Clark to put some sort of dummy coil in that guitar to remove all the noise, because at acoustic gig, you don't really want any noise. But you're always going to get that. So the fact that Mojo Tone made this single coil single coil soundhole pickup, of course it was going to have noise. That's to be expected. I wasn't very comfortable with the way it's called the Mojo Tone Quiet Coil, because I didn't think it was particularly quiet, and I want my acoustic guitar above all to be quiet. I don't mind some buzz from the electric pickups, because you're going through distortion and you're playing through an amp and you're playing a rock song, or you're playing electric guitar. You kind of expect it. When I play my acoustic guitar plugged in, I don't want any hum or buzz. I don't want it. So that's a new story for you all. Michael says the LR Baggs Element is probably the best one out there if you do no percussion on your guitar. I have the LR Baggs Anthem, full Anthem, to have the undersaddle and mic blend if I ever want percussion. Yeah, and that's not the best for percussion. It will give you better percussive sounds than the Element alone, but it won't give you those thick, full percussive sounds that a body sensor will give you, like the K&K or the Cole Clark system. But it does give you more body sounds. It does give you the option of blending in the microphone. I always use the microphone, and that's why I recommend the SL version, because the SL has a smaller preamp which you can hide away, so it looks like there's nothing in the guitar, but it also doesn't give you the ability to blend in the undersaddle pickup. But I like that. I don't. But then, like I said, I'm beduffled because when I hear Michael's videos of his guitar, it sounds so natural, sounds great. But when I play, it doesn't sound like that to me. It sounds like an undersaddle pickup, and that's why I like the Anthem. So, if I was going to do an undersaddle pickup by itself, I would do the Gold Plus because I have it in the Martin OM and it sounds very good. Michael told me he doesn't like the sound of it, but I think it sounds excellent for an undersaddle pickup myself. But I really like having 2 or 3 sources. I'm not very happy with just an undersaddle these days because I'm spoilt with my Cole Clark. Did Dreams with a Looper, F and G. Oh, I finally, is it here? I finally, I don't know where I put it. It's in the closet. I finally found a Ditto X2. It was sold on consignment and it was sealed. So I bought it because you can't buy them anymore. I think they're going to bring out more of them, but I don't know when. I did Dreams instrumentally with a looper, F and G. Play the melody on the guitar. Oh, that's a nice idea too. I do that sometimes too. I'll loop something and play it as an instrumental to rest the voice. That's a great tip, Michael. Jonathan, do you ever get annoyed at cover gigs when you find people aren't listening and are just chatting over you? I wouldn't say annoyed because I kind of expect it. I do get a little bit, I don't know if annoyed is the word, but sometimes people walk in the bar with their AirPods in and the ones that are noise cancelling and sit at the bar right in front of you and order a meal and a drink and leave them in and be on their phone. I mean, I guess it's fine. I always think with playing a cover gig, you're basically walking into a room full of strangers and you're putting yourself on them, aren't you? You're like, here we go. I'll set up my speaker, get my guitar, and I'm going to play you my songs. And I'm going to sing to you. And I'm going to play. You know, they didn't ask you. They may know there's music that night. But some of those people didn't even know you were going to be there. And you're basically like playing at them. So I understand to an extent. Like if people are there to chat, of course they can chat and still listen. I don't expect people just to come and sit at the front of the stage, sit in front of me and watch me, everything I do. It's nice when they stop talking and give a clap now and again. And it's nice when they tip on the way out. That one thing about like people having headphones on and actually ignoring you and sitting right in front of you, I don't think they mean to be rude, but it's not ideal, is it? It's a bit like, what am I doing here? So no, I don't get annoyed. And some nights are amazing, and the way I see it is some nights are amazing and some nights suck, and you just take them all in your stride because you have to just average them all out. It's like tips, right? Some nights you make no tips. Some nights you make amazing tips. Some nights you make okay tips. It all averages out over the year. I feel the same with the audience. Some gigs, the audience are really not into it. Some gigs, the audience say you're the next John Lennon. And over the year, that averages out. You're never going to have an amazing gig all the time, right? It's not going to be possible. So that's fine. But I do appreciate it then when I have a great gig because that's why I do it, right? I want a good reaction. But no, I think getting annoyed with anything is not a good idea, a gig, because it's going to come off on your energy, and the other people are going to pick up on it. I do get annoyed. I had a guy walk up and grab my guitar recently. That annoyed me, but I wasn't annoyed at the time because I was shocked that he did it. He came up and just put his hand. That's a nice guitar, plonk. And then I thought, should I say something? I don't want to say something because I don't make a scene at the gig, right? Because I'm being paid or I'm working here. But that's not acceptable. You don't do that to someone. And then again, plonk. And I was going to say something, and he said, can I take your card? I might want to hire you. So I'm thinking, well, I guess, yeah, okay. But what I really want to say is, don't touch my stuff. I don't bring the DBR12s to Greyhawk. Right, you don't need them. I'll record with my huge stand covering half of it. I told Rafa my pet hate for other musicians is when they have a big music stand in front of them, so you can't see what they're playing on the guitar. So it's basically hiding them. It's like, why are you, I want to see I want to see you. I want to see the guitar. I want to see your face. I don't want to look at a big black binder or even worse, like a big yellow binder on the stand, The passive is 160, but it's not far off an Anthem SL. You can remove it, so that's a nice option, but the Anthem SL isn't that outrageous, is it? Oh, actually, no. How much is the Anthem SL? Is it 220 or 320? Anthem SL was... Yeah, 220. I mean, for the sake of $50, I would get an Anthem. It really is great. Do you play I Left My Heart in San Francisco? No, but Tony Bennett was from Astoria, Queens, which is awesome. Beto Win says, yeah, it's making the crowd have fun. Exactly. They're there to be entertained. They're not there to critique a music performance. They're there to have a night out, and that's why you want fun songs. The Boxer goes down well. Yes. I just started to play Late in the Evening. That's a really cool song. So easy to play and works great. Yeah, a friend of mine just started doing ABBA songs, Rafa. Well, you just bring the key down. You don't do it in the original key. I don't do a lot. I do 20% of my songs in the original key. That's fine. I think he was going to do SOS. Da, 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 da. I'll get copyright strike. But I'd like to do that one too. He's very good. He plays all the intros and everything like he's a piano player. Sounds awesome. But I would just strum it probably. And I was listening to SOS. You can mash up SOS with Police, Message in a Bottle. Sending out an SOS. You can put it with the song SOS. They kind of go together. Do you do Chris Isaak's Wicked Game? I do sometimes. I think it's a bit slow, but it's a great song. It's great if you've got an electric guitarist with you to play the... But I really love that song. But songs like that, when you can do a song... I do slow songs. I think that's important. But when you can do a song like I've started playing Viva La Vida by Coldplay, that's what people want on the Saturday night, right? Dun 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 dun, and then I tap on the guitar, boom boom boom, the kick drum. That's what people want. They want that energy. And so many people play slow songs, and so many people play everything like one medium kind of tempo on acoustic guitar. I don't like that. Recently, I'm trying to play everything the original tempo from the original recording, because I realized that my stuff is all over the place. Don't know if you're strictly a band type of music show, but I make beats and was wondering if you're okay with reviewing them. Review beats for live performance or for putting into Logic and writing a song? I don't know. Send me an email. Say hi at aaronshortmusic.com. I got asked to review a MIDI pedal yesterday. I must reply to that guy. Very cool stuff. So that, by the way, that's my new policy, referencing what I said earlier, and a tip for you if you're doing YouTube. I now have a policy like you send me the thing, and I'm not going to pay any postage or anything. You send me the thing, I try it for a while, and if I think this is the real deal, I want to show it to the channel, then I'll do a deal with you, and the thing will stay here, and that's that. I had so many products in the lockdown that all these companies are reaching out to me. I had so many people like, you want to review this? And I'm like, yeah. And then it shows up and there's a problem and I'm calling them and there's a problem and I can't review it. And then I just either I give it to someone or they want it back and I've got to take it to the post office. Oh, it's just a total drag. So I have a new way of doing it now, which still can potentially take up my time, but at least it won't. Hopefully, it won't take up too much of the time. If you've got a better suggestion, let me know as well, because I'm still figuring this stuff out. The humbucker version from Mojo Tone is the NC Passive. Let's take a look at these, because I am interested. I really like the guy that I spoke to there. He's really nice. And they make some really cool stuff. I just don't understand why. And I'm not complaining, you know, they can do what they want. I just thought I thought they would have sent me the humbucker one and I would have put it on the channel and, you know, showed it off. I'm not a big fan of soundhole pickups because I don't like soundhole pickups in the soundhole, as you know, because I am a soundhole sniffer. But they are an awesome choice. You know why? I actually carry a Fishman soundhole passive pickup in my guitar bag in case my pickup breaks. I'll put that in a soundhole and play the gig. That's a really good tip. Never happened to me yet, but I have a backup. So let's see what we got here. We've got the 250 one, the most expensive. That's got the mic. That's the NC2 with the mic in it. Isn't this the humbucking one? Oh, enhanced. Oh yeah, I did try this. That's one I tried, the enhanced version with the original. Yeah, it did sound better. It did sound better, but it still had some noise. It had less noise and it sounded better, but it still had some noise. So nice. Megami cable. See, ultra quiet performance. I don't like that because I didn't find it ultra quiet. But there we go. 250, yeah. But again, this is my opinion. I've seen people talk about this pickup on the forums and be very happy with it. So it is worth checking out. I'm trying to say it's worth checking out. A lot of this stuff is dependent on your environment you're in. 250 hours is excellent battery life. So that seems to be the enhanced version of the original they released, which is now 250. Fair enough. The original one is 159, right? And it's got no microphone. And that's a single coil. Oh, humbucker. There you go. Oh, right. The humbucker one doesn't have a mic. I think that's what it is. So this one at 159 is just the humbucker. The NC passive. Awesome. So there's no battery in that. That's a really good option. So it's just a passive humbucking pickup. I'd love to try that. I'd really love to try that. And then the NC1 is the original one that has a battery. And does it have a mic or not? I thought there was one that had a mic. Am I confused? Single coil. There you go. Single coil. No mic. I'm sure there's one with a mic. Or is that the other? Is that the middle one? No. It's been a while. It's been out for a long time. I thought there was one that had a microphone. Oh, no. That's the one. That's the humbucking. That's the newly upgraded one. Oh, here we go. Microphone blend. Okay. Okay, so the cheapest one is the humbucking one. That's the one that I would want because I get noise from single coil pickups in my apartment. The next one up is the single coil active. It's a nice option if you want a single. I prefer the sound of a single coil, but I don't want the noise. And then the most expensive has the microphone and is upgraded from that one. So, okay, it makes sense now. Yeah. So I, based on my experience, would recommend the cheapest one because it's a humbucker and it's passive. I really want to try that. I really want to try that pickup now. And I'd probably keep, you know what I said earlier? I would probably just switch to this. If you keep a passive pickup like this with the cable built in and everything in your guitar case, and a small screwdriver from Amazon, it'd be great actually. That's one of my things about this. If they had a way of attaching it without the screw, it'd be even better. But it does use screws. So if you keep this and a very small screwdriver in your guitar case, if say your Anthem died one night, you could just quickly take this out, install it into the sound hole, and go. And that'd be great because I prefer passive, because if it's an active one and then that battery dies in that, then you've got to worry about the battery. If it's a passive one, you can just install it and you can just go. I think that's a really, really useful thing. I don't know. I thought of that idea and I've got one myself. I haven't used it. And I like the idea of the cable being built in as well, because you can just like take that out, plug it into the pedal, and and get through the gig, Or say you forget your cable, then you've got like this spare thing in there. So, or get one where you use your own cable. But I just think having a passive sound hole pickup and screwdriver in the case is a really cool backup plan. Yep. I have never owned a Telecaster style guitar. Any experience with those? Yes, I have one. I have my Mexican Deluxe, which is a great guitar. And I have one of the American Pro 2 tellies as well, which I'm going to be putting in the video and probably selling. I don't know yet. The great thing with those guitars is they're very light and they sound very full. I prefer the Stratocaster, but I have this big thing about gear, in that what you play is what you get used to. If you play a Stratocaster for 10 years and then you play a telly, a lot of people just go, oh, I don't like it. Because it's not what you're used to. If you play a Martin for 10 years and then play a Taylor or a Cole Clark, you can think, oh, I don't like it. Sounds very different to mine. Yeah, because your ear is so ingrained in that sound. This is the problem with gear and reviewing it and comparing it. So you get so used to what you're used to that it makes other stuff sometimes not as impressive. And then you might play that other thing and end up preferring it. So bear that in mind. They tend to hold tune really well because there's no tremolo system, and they tend to be lighter as well, and they tend to have a thicker sound. So a lot of people say they're great for acoustic guitarists because they're more like an acoustic guitar, simple. And I kind of get that. But like I just said, I'm so used to that Stratocaster now, I don't bond with them quite as much as I want to. I really think we get used to stuff and it affects our opinion of other stuff. At least it does with me, I'm sure. Looks like the Gold Plus from Fishman may be a Martin specific SKU. No, it's not. Also, the place I play at most often has 60 Hz hum through the speakers without anything plugged in, which is fun. Right. Well, I had 60 Hz hum the other day from my Cole Clark. You know what it was? I had my speaker plugged into an outlet, which is the same outlet as the refrigerator. And I got that, and I touched the guitar cable, it went off. So what I did was, and I know that the Maton and the Cole Clark can suffer from that, I took that power cable and plugged it in the other room, in a different outlet, different circuit, and it was fine. So mess around with their PA to start with. See if you can plug their PA into a different outlet. I think you can get rid of that hum. That's the first thing I want to say. And then, like I said, you can get a Fishman matrix. You can actually set the matrix to not have the controls. You can either have the sound hole controls or not have them. That's a very solid pickup. But if you're going to get that, I would say get the Anthem SL, because that's what I've got in my guitar, and I really, really am happy with it. So glad you like. It's probably the EQ plus the reverb plus the room. I agree, because obviously we all know when you record your acoustic guitar directly into the interface, you hear just the pickup, and that will always expose those tones. And then once you hear it in a room through a speaker, everything always sounds better because you've got that room sound blending in, whether you're filming it or watching it in person. But your pickup on your video sounds particularly natural. I feel like I hear the true mic in it, which is why I was wondering if you actually had it on all microphone and not all pickup by mistake. But that's good to know that it sounds that good. And it also proves that an undersaddle pickup can sound amazing if you know what you're doing. The only thing I don't like about just an undersaddle pickup is I don't have the body resonance, and I want the body resonance. But the thing is, if you don't want the body resonance, then you don't want that kind of system because you're going to get loads of body noise spilling through as well. I played last week and did some looping, and it was 300 people outside, right in front of me talking, and their voices was going into the loop. That probably wouldn't have happened with an undersaddle pickup, but it happened with my Cole Clark, and the way to remedy that is to use a sound hole plug, which I didn't use. Funny when you know the answer, but you didn't do it, right? Why? What's that all about? No matter what, the performer has to do the gig the best they can. Never let him get you down. Exactly. I always say I'm playing for myself. That sounds bad too, though. If you say I'm just going to play for myself, sounds like you don't care about the audience. I think part of you has to play for yourself initially, and then you look around for people to feed off to take it to the next level. Mr. Brightside, I agree, Bimo. That's a great song. Always goes down great. Peter Gregg, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you, man. Some nights are amazing, some are terrible. Yes, and some are good. Just good, right? Hey man, what's up? Good to see you here. NC2 has the mic, that's right. And that does sound very good. Interesting. So you basically had the midsection of Marvin Gaye's What's Going On with crowd noise. Yeah, well, I use in-ears so I can hear it. Actually, to be fair to the Cole Clark, the vocal mic picks up the audience as well. So when I was playing the other week, I did a loop without the guitar plugged in, and I could hear people talking, and it was coming through the vocal mic. Because if you're near the people, that's going to bleed in, right? Their noise is going to bleed in a little bit. So I could hear some noise there. I don't record that in a loop, so it's not a problem. But the Cole Clark also, not just the mic, but the body sensor picks up a lot of voices too. And I can hear each time I loop that more of that is being added. I don't think it's a bad thing because it'll probably just sound like ambience in the speakers, but it's not ideal. And also you get noise from your hands and your coat and your buttons and scratching against the guitar. So an undersaddle pickup wouldn't do that. You just get the sound of the strings. And then the bad side of that is you just get the sound of the strings, and that's why a lot of them sound quacky. But the good thing is you don't get the other sounds. It's a cleaner sound then, which some people will prefer. Here we go, look. When I play Greyhawk, the vocal mic picks up so much of the crowd. I hear it in the main speaker and in my floor monitor. Interesting how the Sennheiser is picking up so much from behind it. Yeah, so I have the Sennheiser 935 as well. Mine picks up the people too. You could look for a mic that picks up a narrower field, so it rejects more of them. But I just think if it's a loud bar, and it's always going to hear something, right? If you're standing at the mic and you can hear noise, the mic is hearing that noise as well. So it's not going to reject it because sound bounces off the walls and everything, the ceiling and everything. So yeah, if you stand at the mic and you can hear people talking, the mic can hear people talking as well. So that is a problem. I never actually thought about it until last week. It's funny you mention it. Yeah, I bet it's the sound bouncing around the room from off the walls and the ceiling, on the hard ceiling. That's what happens. Or you just get a very loud crowd and you got them talking loudly. It's funny, I was looping once and someone dropped a glass and it went shh. And in the loop, every time the loop went around, it went shh, 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 shh. But it happened in a really good place, so I left it in. Because it was like strum, accent, and I went shh, shh. Sometimes these things work. Sometimes the things we complain about with our gear turns out to be a blessing in disguise. So he says, make that video a short. Yeah, YouTube short. I wish I'd filmed it. I wish I filmed a lot of stuff in my life. Would make very good videos. Gig nightmares. Yeah, but I'm telling you, that was a good thing. I thought that was really cool. That added to the performance, but no one knew. That's the other thing. People don't hear this stuff. No one heard that. I could hear it in my in-ear monitors. No one else noticed it. People don't notice these things. People don't notice a mistake. They don't notice mic bleed. They don't even maybe notice quack from a guitar. I do think people can tell good sound from bad sound. And a lot of people tell me that my Cole Clark sounds excellent. Even people that don't play the guitar, which is amazing. But these little things like that don't matter. How did the sound go again, Aaron? Okay, it went... You got it? Or should I do it again? Okay, one more time. I'll keep going until you tell me to stop. He's not telling me to stop. Well, you asked me. So I did as I was told. Make a clip from this video. No, you need to do it. You need to actually go somewhere, go to a room and actually recreate it. It has to be like, it would be a great video to see the bartender drop the glass and it shatters, and it becomes part of a certain song that has that sound in it. I can't think of what that song would be right now, but yeah, that would be really cool. All right, so I've been. Hey, don't blame me. Blame Prodigal Nation, because he asked me, how did the sound go again, Aaron? There we go. What guitar is that, Paul? Anyway, another thing I heard from TC Helicon, and they put this online now, that they are not killing off the Voice Live 3 Extreme and their other products. They're going to put them under the umbrella of TC Electronic. So they're still going to make them. They're out of stock now. I think the Play Acoustic is in stock. The Voice Live 3 is out of stock. I think the reason is they're trying to figure out the components to make them. And their plan is to continue to make them. And their plan is also to possibly make new products. Now, I'll believe that when I see it, because we've heard that for years from many different companies, especially TC Helicon. But that's very promising. They're not dead. They are not dead. That made me very sad the other week. So you can still buy this Play Acoustic here, and you will be able to buy the Voice Live 3 Extreme, the one that I like. So you back ordered. I think they're trying to figure out production of that one, and there may well be new products under the TC Electronic umbrella. So I'm very happy about that. There is hope yet. But I would still buy one now if you are interested, in case they do stop. Here's an admission of guilt from Prodigal Nation. It's all my fault. That's right. He asked me to do it again. So, and to be fair to me, it was a loop, so I wanted to loop it. I was trying to be a human looper. That's what I was trying to do. So, like I said, next week I'm going to go early, because I have something planned after. Probably do 1 o'clock like I did last time. And that might be better for some people and worse for others. And the reason I like to go live early is because then people can watch the video when they get home at night. I do that all the time with other channels. I'll get home from a gig and watch a live stream that I missed. So I'm going to go live early next week. And I hope you can still make it. As I always say, please ring the bell if you're new here. Really appreciate it. Please send my channel to anyone that likes music gear, because I'm sure you know at least someone that does. Okay? And it's a slow run these days, but I'm getting up there. I'm excited for my goal of 15,000, and I need another 35 people. So I'm hoping next Monday to celebrate 15,000 total subscribers. So don't get your dog's account to subscribe. Don't ask your wife to subscribe, your husband to subscribe. But if you've got any friends that play the guitar or are into loopers, acoustic amps, electric guitars, acoustic guitars, playing solo acoustic gigs, there's a new word, isn't there? SAM, solo acoustic musician, the SAM. If you know any SAMs, then tell them about my channel. Tell them to subscribe if they're into that kind of thing. And just want to have a little celebration next week of 15K. If not next week, the week after. That'll be fun. Very, very excited for that. If you want to help me out, do me a favor. Click the link to Sweetwater I put in the chat there. Even if you're not in America, even if you're not buying anything, if you click the link, it makes it look good for me that people are clicking on the link that I have with them. It's an affiliate link. If you are in the USA and buying something, consider clicking my link and buying something, because I do have an affiliate with them. It helps me out to run the channel. Really appreciate it. Also, thanks to the 2 people last week that bought me a coffee. Actually, they were from the hybrid guitar. Someone wants to buy a hybrid guitar, and so they appreciated the video that I made, and they bought me a coffee. So thank you very much. I forgot your name. I'm sorry, but I did thank you on the app as well. I'm probably going to make a video now. I've got this new habit of making a video after the live streams. I'm in that mode. And I think what I want to do is do my official review of the hi-fi from LR Baggs, because I know people like that, to talk about that pickup. And I want to sell that guitar. So I think I'm going to review the LR Baggs hi-fi tonight for my pickup review series. And then I might make a video about that guitar itself, the Martin OM28. And I'm going to sell that one on to pay off some bills. So I think that's my plan. So if there's no last questions, I will say thank you for joining me. It's been a great show. Really had a good time. I like the way we spoke about song requests as well, not just about the gear. It's a bit more informal, a bit more about the gigs, which I like that angle, as you know. So, yes, Rosanna and Lee, hope you have a great time in New York. Yes, they're going to be in New York next week, so we'll have a good time and take some pictures. I'll give you a call when I get finished work and suitcase back, probably Wednesday. Okay, just if you don't mind, send me your schedule for your trip so I know exactly when you land and when you leave, because I want to see if I can take you to... I bet you've never been to Guitar Center, and I bet you've never been... Hey, perhaps we'll make that a video. British couple visits Guitar Center for the first time. That could be fun. How much for the OM28? I haven't got a figure yet, but it has got the Baggs Hi-Fi installed by LR Baggs, which I think adds some value to the guitar. It's also mint condition. So ask me next time, because I want to get the videos done before I think about that. But it is a model from this year. It's only been played out twice, and that's it. And it's been the pickup's been installed by LR Baggs themselves, which I think is pretty cool. I would try and sell it to Lee, but he's going on to Hawaii, I think, after New York, so it won't work. Have a great week. Take care. Picnic. Great job. Thank you. Well, thank you for being here. It's always, again, it's funny. It's funny you say to me on here the question of, when you do a gig, if people are talking, does it make you mad? You not enjoy the gig? It's the same thing on a live stream, of course. If you do a live stream and you've got 30 people watching and they're having a really good, interesting, interactive chat with you, then you are more into it, right? If you have 5 people watching, it's harder to, because you don't get so many questions come through. There's not so much interaction, so you don't have such a good gig, quote unquote. So it's the same thing, exactly the same thing. So thank you for being here, because that makes it better. Yeah, we might, hey Lee, we might do it. Perhaps we'll do it for fun. Have you been to Guitar Center? Because Guitar Center, a lot of people in America will say they hate Guitar Center and they refuse to go there. And I'm not saying I love the place, and I always recommend shopping at some. I've got a couple of dealers I like online. The main one obviously is Sweetwater, and again, like I referenced earlier, because I have my links with them, so there's that shilling thing. Not that I am shilling, but that's that whole thing about having those connections with people. But I also have shopped there the last 10 years, and I always go them first. There's a couple of other people that I'll go to, but some dealers are not good. So you want that support of someone like Sweetwater, because they've got that support to give you a resolution if there is a problem. They've got the power to do that. Guitar Center kind of do as well, and they do have some cool stuff, and they have the physical store. So my point is, if you haven't been there before and you go in, it is quite cool the first time. So I know a lot of people watching in America won't get that, but if Lee hasn't been there before, he will be, I think he'll be like, oh, this is really cool. Wow, awesome. You know. So, no, he won't say that. He'll say, this is brilliant. This is brilliant. Oh, the guitars. So I might go in the film behind him. What do you think? What's your reaction? And they'll come up and kick us out. Why are you filming in the store? It's for a YouTube video. Get out. We'll see. And then Rudy's music in New York is amazing. They do obviously want to sell you stuff when you're in there. It's not the sort of place you can really just sort of casually hang out, but it is worth a trip. And I do sort of know them, so I just say that I'm showing you around because you're on vacation. And yeah, Those two stores would be awesome. And then the original Martin factory, the one that was in New York City, is around there as well. So you can go and check that out. All right, I'm going. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
I'm not lost, but I'm not found. I'm not up, but I'm not